with the culinary and healthcare the big issues.
Democrats take a huge risk if we just substitute one arrogant billionaire for another.
Let me be very clear to my good friends in the Culinary Workers Union, a great union. I will never sign a bill that will reduce the health care benefits they have.
I'm the only one on this stage that actually got anything done on health care.
News 3 live from Paris Theater as Democratic candidates make the final push to win the Silver State.
The candidates also vying for support of black voters.
We want to know that they care about us and they care about the things that affect us.
Who has the edge after tonight's debate?
Get ready for a traffic gridlock tomorrow. What you need to know tonight to avoid a big travel headache with the president in town this week.
And this is the woman police say lied about a sex assault and then tried to cover it up with a fire at the Excalibur. Her alleged motive and the charges she's now facing. This is News 3, live at 11. Fireworks tonight in Las Vegas. The Democratic presidential debate more like a heavyweight fight, and the candidates came out swinging from the opening bell. Tonight, we have team coverage with News 3's Jeff Gillen breaking down the haymakers landed tonight at Bally's Las Vegas, and News 3's Tiffany Lane showing us how you can beat the traffic rush tomorrow with President Trump in town. Good evening. I'm Marie Mortera.
And I'm Latoya Silman in for Jim Snyder tonight. We're just 3 days away from the Nevada caucus. 36 delegates are up for grabs in the Silver State. Here's where we stand right now in the race for the Democratic nomination. 64 delegates declared right now. Pete Buttigieg in the lead with 22 delegates. Bernie Sanders right behind with 21. Elizabeth Warren, Amy Klobuchar, and Joe Biden all looking to flip the script here in Nevada and get back in the race.
Let's begin our team coverage tonight with News 3's Jeff Gillen live there from Bally's, Las Vegas.
That's right. Good evening, everybody. If you had any doubt, tonight was the night the gloves really came off in the Democratic race for president. The new guy on the block, Michael Bloomberg, whose fortune is raising his unconventional run for president, got it immediately. The hammer came from Elizabeth Warren, the progressive who needed to make a mark tonight. Did she ever?
I'd like to talk about who we're running against. A billionaire who calls women fat broads and horse-faced lesbians. And no, I'm not talking about Donald Trump. I'm talking about Mayor Bloomberg.
That's how it went for Bloomberg, accused of using his billions to buy his way into the White House. This incoming came from Pete Buttigieg, aiming at both Sanders and Bloomberg.
We shouldn't have to choose between one candidate who wants to burn this party down and another candidate who wants to buy this party out.
Of the 6 candidates on stage, all had their own game plan. Bloomberg tried to put Bernie Sanders on the defensive over Medicare for all. Sanders' public health care plan that Bloomberg says could force millions off their own health insurance. It could be a deal breaker in November, Bloomberg said.
You don't start out by saying, I've got 160 million people. I'm going to take away the insurance plan that they love. That's just not a ways that you go and start building the coalition that the Sanders camp thinks that they can do.
Bloomberg got skewered for being worth $60 billion. What say Bloomberg?
I can't think of a ways that would make it easier for Donald Trump to get reelected than listening to this conversation. It's ridiculous. We're not going to throw out capitalism. We tried that. Other countries tried that. It was called communism.
Not even close. This was the most aggressive debate so far.
Are you trying to say that I'm dumb, or are you mocking me here, Pete?
Is the Democratic race coming off the rails? Not according to a top advisor for Bernie Sanders, Jeff Weaver.
I would say this campaign now is entering a phase where people want to have a sharper distinction on the issues, but it is being handled in a way that will allow the party to come together at the end, which is very important.
But tonight will be remembered as the night the gloves came off. And back now live here at Bally's, Republicans not impressed with either the debate or the candidates. This tonight from the Nevada GOP, which said, quote, the fact the Democratic field is still so wide open shows how weak it is. Live at Bally's, I'm Jeff Gillen, News 3. Back to you.
Jeff, thank you. The Nevada vote is crucial for this election. According to the latest numbers from Real Clear Politics, Bernie Sanders is leading the pack with 30%. Joe Biden sits in second with 16%, followed by Elizabeth Warren and Pete Buttigieg. Almost every candidate has stumped here in the Valley for the support of black voters.
Yeah, tonight a Black History Month event at the Smith Center took place at the same time as the Democratic debate. Even though they missed it, they told News 3's Gabby Hart that they're still paying attention to the candidates.
On Wednesday night, dozens of Las Vegas residents gathered at the Smith Center for a Black History Month event. They celebrated and honored the achievements of Black people from right here in the Valley.
All of these people gathered here at the same time as the Democratic presidential debate, but they still say they've been paying attention and they've noticed how every candidate has been vying for the Black vote.
They have heard the cries of the people, whether we're talking about our concerns about jobs, economics, health care has been really big, and also bail reform. And all of them, to a degree, have been really, really good at answering the questions.
Clark County Commissioner Lawrence Weekly hosted the celebration. And while he wouldn't say who he supports, he did weigh in on the controversy surrounding former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg, who's come under fire for a stop and frisk policy that targeted Blacks and Latinos.
Was it the right thing to do? No, because there was a lot of racial profiling. There were a lot of injustices that took place with that. But let's see who Michael Bloomberg is in 2020 in the 21st century. What's he talking about?
And then there's Sean Murray.
I am a mother of a brown child.
Her son was honored at tonight's event for his local nonprofit Clothes for Kids. She says whatever candidate that ends up getting her vote has to say what they mean and actually mean what they say.
Combing through every candidate just to see, because we want to make sure that they're not here just to get our vote. We want to know that they care about us and they care about the things that affect us.
In downtown Las Vegas, Gabby Hart, News 3.
Looking ahead, Air Force One touched down tonight here in the Valley. The president back in Las Vegas after attending a rally in Phoenix. Tomorrow, the president is attending a Hope for Prisoners graduation ceremony at Metro headquarters. You may spot President Trump's motorcade as he travels around town over the next few days. So what does that mean for your commute? News 3's Tiffany Lane live from the Desert Inn overpass with all the information that you need to know.
Well, you know what? We actually got a preview of that traffic tonight just over an hour ago. This area was at a dead stop going eastbound on Spring Mountain as drivers were waiting for the motorcade to pass. And President Trump will be in town for the next few days, and that means that there is a chance that you could get stopped along your route. But we want to make sure you avoid that traffic, so we talked to people about what you need to know.
Traffic is horrible, especially when the big events are in town.
Tonight, the president returns to town.
I'd seen an article on Facebook, actually. Oh, I didn't know that.
He makes a stop at Metro headquarters Thursday. The Golden Knights encouraging fans to be aware of heavy traffic expected ahead of tomorrow night's 7 o'clock game. And then on Friday, President Trump makes his way to the Las Vegas Convention Center for a Keep America Great rally. When his presidential motorcade travels through the valley, you can find yourself stuck in this. Because Secret Service can block off streets and freeways at any time for safety with little or no warning.
Imagine you waking up, going to work, or having to do errands and you don't even know what's going on, and boom, it takes 2 hours to get to somewhere.
So drivers need to be prepared and expect the unexpected.
We can't give you exact times of how short we shut something down for operational security reasons, but I would say if you see he's going to be somewhere at noon, then you probably don't want to be anywhere in that area from 11 to 1.
There'll probably be another closure of I-15 in the mid-morning and then again as he leaves. So the best thing to do without knowing the exact route is during the AM hours, just stay away.
And again, McCarran did put out a tweet tonight just mentioning that anytime the president is in town, there will be delays in and out of the airport. Reporting live from the DI overpass, I'm Tiffany Lane for News 3. Back to you.
Tiffany, thanks for mapping it out for us. Another traffic advisory you need to know about. NDOT predicting heavy traffic for the NASCAR Pennzoil 400 race from Friday until Sunday. The department asking drivers to avoid the Speedway exit on northbound I-15. They are estimating 25,000 additional vehicles for race-related events at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Now to a News 3 follow-up. A woman who police say set a fire inside an Excalibur hotel room and then lied about a sexual assault is now behind bars.
Metro says a 28-year-old employee of the Excalibur faces multiple charges now. News 3's Lauren Clark explains what police say motivated the crime.
Police say the fake victim was motivated by money. It all started with a small fire right here at the Excalibur. A woman told officers she was left inside a burning room after being sexually assaulted. Hotel guests were worried.
It's pretty shocking. Just
to know that happened right under our nose.
But 2 days later, investigators determined her story wasn't true. And now police say this woman, 28-year-old Avalon Lee, wasn't sexually assaulted and was responsible for setting the fire. Lee is now under arrest and is facing several felonies, including first-degree arson and burglary with a deadly weapon. The deadly weapon in this case being her use of fire. Lee is also facing a felony charge for destroying nearly $600,000 worth of Excalibur property and 2 counts of obstructing smoke detectors and fire sprinklers. Police also booked her on 2 misdemeanors, willful disregard of safety and false reporting of a crime.
All right, and that was Lauren Clark reporting for us there. A representative with MGM Resorts, the company that owns the Excalibur, says that they have no comment on Lee's arrest at this time. Lee will appear before a district court judge tomorrow morning.
Coming up, with the rise in technology means an open door for criminals. Should you be worried? A News 3 special report, Hackers in the Home, looks into the risk.
And things beginning to percolate out in the Pacific. There is a really good chance for rain in the forecast. When you can expect it, when we come back.
Most of us will admit we can't live without our new technology devices. The newest trend, connecting our homes with remote devices like our cell phones.
But are we just opening the door to criminals? News 3's Gerard Armalo takes a look in his special report, Hackers in Your Home.
In a world where convenience is everything, so-called smart technology is revolutionizing the home industry. Cameras, doorbells, thermostats, TVs, and cell phones, now all interconnected.
So this is a smart plug. It's a smart hub, again, controls 30 devices.
At this year's Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, an entire convention floor dedicated to smart home technology. Manufacturers describing their products with words like smart, genius, and intelligent.
But is all this smart technology actually a smart idea? Some would argue not necessarily.
I'm your best friend.
This now viral video of an 8-year-old girl being taunted by a strange man who hacked into a Ring security camera.
I'm Santa Claus. Don't you want to be my best friend?
Sent shockwaves to families everywhere. Security experts, however, not surprised at all.
Pretty much every device is going to be hackable, given enough resources.
Mike, who didn't want to disclose his last name, is a Wi-Fi and cloud platform security expert. He says as we become even more connected, we also become more vulnerable.
If you're talking about a device that controls your door locks and you connect that device to the internet, well, you've just opened, yourself up to maybe somebody opening your door lock remotely who you did not intend.
From computer and home security cameras to so-called smart speakers, any and all can be compromised. The big-name brands are familiar with consumers: Amazon, Ring, Nest, Google, and so on.
And the more information you put out there with these different companies, the more likely it is that that data is going to be breached.
Privacy and security, it turns out, are primarily the responsibility of the consumer, meaning it's up to us to make sure our high-tech favorites like camera devices, speakers, and GPS trackers are turned off if we don't want them to be accessed.
So those hacks were really not the fault of the manufacturer, although I would say until manufacturers mandate things like two-factor, it becomes a gray area.
To protect your privacy, security experts say you should use a strong and unique password. The longer, the more secure. Change them often and set up two-factor authentication to ensure a hacker has to work twice as hard to break in. Also, be wary of connecting your device to secondary apps. In some cities, doorbell security cameras are being linked to apps like Nextdoor.
Time and time again, we've seen abuse of power of those types of systems.
Also, beware that many new technology items like smart light bulbs can track information via their apps. Personal details like movement data in your home and sleeping patterns. All this information can be sold to marketers. Mike says targeted attacks on individuals are rare and most breaches are nuisance related. But as we've learned in some cases, devices are being accessed for spying and other nefarious purposes.
Shut the up. I think it's smart but not secure.
His advice, if you don't really need that new piece of technology, it's probably safest to go without.
So most of us, we buy a new device, plug it in, turn it on, and it works, so we leave it at that. But Mike says the first thing you should do when you buy a new device is go through all the security settings, turn off unneeded cameras and speakers, and of course, come up with a brand new password, something you've never used before. Guys?
All right, but if you're like me, then you're always changing it because you forget your passwords because you have so many.
And oftentimes you're prompted to come up with a new password.
Right. Well, we want to keep the weather.
Okay.
We need to change that.
2 days? 48 hours?
Forever.
Yeah. Wow, that's not a tough request at all. Wouldn't that be something? About 70 degrees forever? I would love that. The story is, though, we've got this stable, great environment for a couple more days, and the rain's going to move in, and we need it. So far, we've had less than 1/10 of an inch of rain in 2020. Just compare the first 2 months of the last 4 years, and you can see how much more rain fell, especially last year when we were over 3 inches, but even 18 and 17 were above the norm. Up on the mountain, it's going to be snow. We could see anywhere from 6 to 12 inches at the highest elevations, and as you can see at lodge level here, which is 7,700 feet, most of the snow has melted, at least in the parking lot and on the rooftops of the cabins. 55 degrees at the moment. That's at George Harris near Flamingo and Sand Hill. Not much wind. They're blowing at 7 miles per hour, but peak gust has only been 14. Kitty Ward, farthest north we go in the valley, Jones and Horse. They're at 47 degrees at the moment. And down at Martha P. King in Boulder City, 53, current wind speed 9 miles per hour. Rest of the temperatures up at Camino El Dorado and Ann Road, they're at 48, 46 at Mountain's Edge, still 55 on the east side. Base of Sunrise Mountain and Frenchman's Peak. Mountain sitting at 29, 51 over the hump, and it's 53 up there in Overton and the Moapa Valley. At McCarran today, we were once again above normal. Today by a couple of degrees, 65 the high. That was no problem with the 3-degree guarantee, so tack on another $100 for our friends at the After School All-Stars. Boy, they do some great programs for young folks in the valley. We're at $1,200 and climbing and should have no problem tacking on another Benjamin for them tomorrow. Moderate levels of ash and elm pollen being detected, and you know, February pollen season is just beginning to roll. Mid-40s for the start tomorrow. We'll work our way into the low 60s and during the lunch hour, and mid to upper 60s for a high. Now, maybe a little bit of a breeze. Right now it's blowing 5 to 10. Tomorrow we could see 5 to 15, but that would be at the top end, so we're not expecting wind to be much of an issue. We're clear. I expect that to remain through Friday, but things are beginning to get organized in the Pacific early stages, and as the system gets rolling, we're going to see a lot more moisture on the increase there, and that is going to lead to a good chance for rain. In fact, we're about as confident as we've been in a long time to see rain come Saturday. Timing, it looks like mid-morning will be the best chance, say around 11 a.m., with showers developing through the Las Vegas Valley, moving out late in the afternoon, early in the evening, and then by Sunday should be pretty dry. Important forecast. It is, after all, NASCAR weekend coming up. Overnight tonight, mountains going down to the 20s, Pahrump in the mid-30s. Laughlin should have a low of 50. Then highs tomorrow, the lake going to 67, 70 up in Mesquite, 68 over the hump, and Death Valley is looking at a high of 76. For the Las Vegas Valley tonight, under a clear sky, will bottom out of 45, just that gentle northerly breeze. Then the bounce back for your afternoon tomorrow, 66 officially, but some neighborhoods on the east side could hit the upper 60s, maybe even flirt with 70. We're all going to enjoy that flirtation on Friday. High expected of 71, and here comes the rain. Finally, on Saturday, we're talking better than 1/4 of an inch of rain in many valley neighborhoods. Sunday will be relatively tranquil. The winds pick up early next week, and down goes the temperature again. That's our 7-day forecast. We'll be right back.
It's now time for the News 3 Station Casinos Sports Desk.
Well, hello, folks. The NHL trade deadline isn't until Monday, but the Golden Knights make a move today to improve and make a run at the playoffs. The VGK trade for defenseman Alec Martinez from the LA Kings. While the Knights only send away 2 second-round picks, the Knights get an 11-year vet with 2 Stanley Cups. He's also a money player, scoring 2 series-clinching goals in that 2014 Stanley Cup run.
Coaching in New Jersey in the final, he was a big piece of that team. I think that was, one of his first few years up. I think it was 2012. But you could already tell, that he was going to be a real good player. And then just watching, their second Stanley Cup win and what an important role he played there.
He's a great guy. He's an awesome teammate. He's fun to be around, and obviously on the ice, he's a great player. He's with a ton of experience, 2 Stanley Cups. Plays the game the right way. Plays it hard.
All right, a look at the Pacific Division standings that are changing rapidly. Remember, the Knights were tied for first place yesterday. Now the Oilers are in first after gaining 1 point in a shootout loss today. The VGK are tied with the Canucks in second place now after Vancouver lost via shootout tonight. But Vegas is actually in third because both Edmonton and Vancouver have one less game, still 5 teams within 3 points. And you see, going back to Cali, we have the Sharks, the Ducks, and the Kings. Oh my. Now, after fighting to a draw in December of 2018, the heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury will each look to be the clear winner this Saturday night when they meet inside the ring at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. That's where the final press conference was today, and Amber Dixon tells us tensions were sky high.
When you go 12 rounds inside the ring with someone, you get to know them intimately. And at the final press conference ahead of their heavyweight title rematch Saturday, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder showed they know just what to say to metaphorically hit each other where it hurts most.
Don't ever forget, when I found you was strung out on coke. When I found you was like a big house contemplating about killing yourself. So don't you ever forget who brought you to big time boxing. I drugged you back.
But the thing that Wilder must be thinking is, I hit that guy with my best 2 punches I can ever throw in round 12, and he got up.
Here at the MGM, Wilder is the favorite. Bet $130 on him to win $100, and bet $100 on Fury to win $110. From the MGM Grand Garden Arena, I'm Amber Dixon.
That's what you call keeping it 100. Anyway, folks, we'll be right back.
Stevenson.
Finally tonight, they are part of the family and most definitely devoted to us.
And tomorrow, it's our chance to show them just how important they are. Thursday, National Love Your Pet Day. But let's be honest, for many of us, that is every day.
All right, wonder what you do to celebrate. So many things, right? The treats, the extra walks, the
extra cuddles.
That's right. And by the way, we said National Pet Day, so if it's a turtle or a cat.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
not just the dogs.
We're a little biased here.
We like the pups.
Yeah.
But pets of all sorts. Right.
What do you do for a turtle on National Pet Day? Some extra lettuce?
Yeah.
Right here.
Celery.
Something.